What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, club swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys all had an incredible weekend and ready to go. Not much month of the what do we got? 3 more days till we hit April. So 3 more final days. However, we did surpass quad witching on Friday. We did have a little bit of a rally toward I guess most of the day was a rally back and nice little follow through today. So again, a lot of options expired Friday. Looking to clear the board, and we'll see if we could finally get maybe a little sentiment shift after being down almost 10% very, very quickly, historically quickly in the markets. But we got Albert House. Good morning to you. Good morning to Anna. Good morning to Andy, Cindy, D, Daniel, Frank, Keith, Lauren, Lucian, Marius. Good morning to Rob, Tim. Virginia's in the house. Good morning to Wendy. All my people out of YouTube land. Clarice gets the gold medal today. First comment into YouTube. We got Leonard. Good morning to you. Ray, M. Sky. All my lurkers in the background. I'm just not going to say anything the whole time. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. And yeah, we'll see. So beautiful looking gap. First time above that 200 EMA in 10 trading days, heading into the lower end of this candle from back in March 7th, so the beginning of the month, almost making this a wipeout month. We saw what happened last month, right? We didn't forget. I don't know. I mean, this would be one really impressive 3 days to get back to to somewhere where we open on this one, but I mean anything's possible, I guess. But there is some key resistance in the way. But yeah, one day took us like one day to close pretty much into a high wave candle last month. So we'll see if how this one wants to act. But it is a retest gap. Strong buying on Friday and continuing over the weekend. Basically on the news of maybe not as severe tariffs. So reciprocal, I think it actually started when Trump was speaking, and I didn't really see what the rest of the market was seeing as in terms of the strong turnaround. Uh, he pretty much mentioned like, yeah, tariffs going to be a little bit more flexible. He already gave a break to some auto dealers, so maybe some other things. I think they media stretched it a little bit a little bit more, but and then maybe some remarks over the weekend kind of confirms it though. But otherwise, if you guys remember where we were sitting on Friday around this time, we were going through the charts and everything was kind of having a not so great open. Everything was kind of already below some pretty key levels. It looked weak. If you're looking for bottoming signals in a market, it's those type of days that have done nothing of what you thought was going to happen, or all that weakness from what it looks like at open by the end of the day is completely reversed. That's some signs that some bulls might want to step in, might want to jump into this market, and it's maybe at least the bears are not as strong as they were on that entire move down. So again, good follow through. We didn't hit any bad news. Being a retest gap, we got the 200 that we're above. Let's see if there's a little bit of a pullback on this one. If we can get a pullback, let's see if that 200 could hold. It matches up perfectly with a VPOC as well, so that's 568.96. And then we got room to 572.90 would be our next target to the bullish direction. That also gets us into that 20 EMA as well. So not as much reward if we're just going to stop at that first resistance as we do to probably a little bit better risk for a pullback. I think dips will get bought today. Maybe don't go so aggressive on just buying everything out of the gate. If we get to that next target, if we could break through that first little resistance, the next target for me would take us up to 575.11. That would be a very strong target because now at least we'd be above the 200 plus the 20. Not sure if we get there today, but maybe a little chop. It's strong move today. Really, really good gap though. If you need if this gap could hold today, that could change a little bit of sentiment around. Take a look at the cues. Wendy says, "Good morning, Kill my account with puts. I'm scared to open it, but I'm in a call on Tesla. The call on Tesla is going to be good. UNH, I didn't check out what that one's doing today, but I will check out both of those for you for sure. All right, we got the Qs. The Qs are looking okay. Nice gap. Again, high volume candle really came in on March 10th. We are now opening above it. That would be the first time we did get above it once before that turned into a bull trap, and then we did nothing. Now we are getting an open above it. So again, looking for support. If we get this pullback, you got 484.90. It's a little bit of room to the downside. To the higher side of things, well, we're still not on the northbound side of that 200 yet. So I think we got to get up there. We got to start clearing that. I do have some VPOCs, some resistance starting to come in. That's gonna be about 489.84, and then we got some room into 491.02. Keep in mind, I think the sentiment is shifting a little bit until it doesn't, until we start making new lower lows and the market proves me wrong. But we had a good call. 450 on the SPY was a good spot for balance. It started holding some of the key levels we needed. Qs, same thing. Even though the sentiment's shifting, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a choppy market. And this could be a little bit of like, okay, bulls, all hands on deck. But if you were bullish, you sat through a lot of this pain, aggravation, you're starting to make a little money back. You're at some key resistance. Might be a spot to take a little bit of gains. Um, very, very little. I mean, obviously, long term or swing trade, you just leave it, let it do its thing. But if you're just in this thing from any of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days, you know it's a choppy market. That's almost 2 weeks of solid trading, and now you're finally up on the Qs into resistance. Probably get that retest first, maybe a little profit taking, but overall, I think the sentiment might be shifting a little bit. Let's check out Bitcoin. I saw crypto was up a little bit, so good open end so far, not closed because we still got a long time on Bitcoin. It is 24-hour trading. But good open at least. So we opened above that 200. We also opened above the 20. We did bounce, and if this is going to be a little cue of what happens maybe to the SPY, looks almost kind of similar a little bit. But we used the 200 as a little bit of support, and there's not a lot holding us back on crypto except for 87,519. We did hit that. If we can get back up there again, next spot is about 88,403. But right where we are again, this candle has to close. If we give all this back by the end of today, um, then we're still just kind of on the fence. If we close somewhere around here, specifically a little tad bit higher, that could be a good sign for Bitcoin to kind of run a little bit. First ticker I see in the chat is Dell. We got Dell is okay. Good gap. That is a little bit of a retest gap from Friday. If we open here, it's a big if. Gonna put an asterisk next to that. But if we open here, I like it a lot. Next immediate target is gonna come from February 3rd, which will not give us that much room. That's $100.20. We've hit that already. The next target up is going to take us to 101.77. So a little bit of better target. We have not hit that yet. And then you got one more spot somewhere around 102.04. So I kind of like it if we get past that first resistance. But good location. This might be one for a high wave candle if we get a tighter setup on it. Because it doesn't look like it has too much room unless it does something crazy. But it doesn't look like it has too much room. It gives us about $1, $2 maybe. So if we get that $2 move, then we probably need, yeah, kind of a tight spread, but otherwise it looks decent. All right, next one I see is Tesla with a really good gap today, unless you are in there bearish. But Wendy's saying she's got some calls on it, and this is the candle. This was I mean, capitulation. You usually see this big down selling candle, lots of volume. This thing is just going to zero. The other end of capitulation is you usually want to get above that candle pretty quickly. It took us almost 2 weeks. And this is the first time since this has happened, since March 10th, that we are now above that big volume sell-off panic candle. Did nothing since. Really good gap. It's about $10 move, $10, $11 move on Tesla this morning. Again, and I went through most of these. I just went down the list before I jumped on the live stream, but a lot of stocks are in this interesting looking spot. I don't know how Tesla's going to work. So I got I'm gonna make a case on both directions. The one big concern for me though is 260.49. That is the we are now closing that almost mini looking tiny gap, almost a gap. At a decent resistance spot, you have a lot more room to the downside if this fades, and then your next spot is like 262.93. Longer term, again, stay above this candle, close today anywhere above it. We could see some continuation throughout the week, throughout the next month. In Tesla, it's very, very possible, especially if more good headlines come in. Here's my one conspiracy theory on Tesla. Everybody is saying that Teslas are being set on fire, stuff like that. My one question is, all of those Tesla dealerships are insured and have insurance, so wouldn't the I could understand how like somebody might not want to go out and buy a Tesla because they don't want their car burned or deal with any headaches. But if you set those cars on fire and the insurance company buys them, and then Tesla's still obviously going to have their dealership open and replace the car means they have to make more cars. Wouldn't that actually drive sales on Tesla? I don't know. I don't know. I was just thinking about that over the weekend. I was like, it might not even be that horrible for for Tesla. Sentiment branding, yeah, I get all that. But they're just replacing car. I don't know. Otherwise, watch that resistance. Really good, great opening on Tesla. Just the fact that we're above this. Again, closing is going to be impressive. Friday, nice move on Friday. Um, I have the next kind of immediate support if we get a pullback down to this 251.76. That's been a monster resistance to get past. So if that becomes support, great. If you want to do a full-on retest of Friday's candle, I'm looking for like 246.20. That's where I'll put the line in the sand. I really don't want to see a close down there. Now we're right back in this mess. Um, but if we're starting to go out a little bit further on time, this looks like a very interesting two candle week pattern off of the 200. So we're holding the 200 EMA perfectly. We've had a massive run, just giving it back really quickly, so it's a little scary. But good volume throughout this week, and we are now opening above that one as well. You also have your 100 EMA that's also around 261.98. So not bad, but that is two interesting looking hammers on Tesla. If it's going to finally pick up and run, we'll see. But I'm probably going to be a little cautious at open. Phenomenal gap, but that retest could come into play. I think buy the dip on Tesla would be the way to kind of push on that one. UNH, you must be feeling relief. I wasn't really ever on Tesla, you mean? Yeah, no, I wasn't really ever drowning too much because I mean, this was 10% buy, this was 20% buy, this was 30% buy, this is 40% buy. And then after that, I picked up some insurance. We got right back in that zone. I sold the insurance, so I got no insurance policy. I might be able to play Tesla in bearish direction with some puts today, but for the most part, I got filled kind of perfectly how I wanted to, and I have a full position on Tesla. So yeah, it didn't really for me. It didn't really get too much. I mean, at level one was horrible, but that was 10% of the overall position. So my average price, I think, is like 247 at this point. So feeling good. I think it was a good pyramid so far. We'll see. The other end of this pyramid though is I got my targets up here to sell. So I feel a lot better once we start hitting some of those targets and I get some of that profit locked in. But we'll see what happens. All right. What was the other one? UNH. UNH. UNH is chilling for the moment. So nothing really for day trade wise, nothing really crazy. You're in it for calls. It is gapping down slightly, but watch 513.80, see if that one wants to hold. You do have your I think probably everybody and their best friend is trying to target somewhere around this 524.82 that will close up this gap. Looks like you're in the gap zone for it, so we'll see if that could go a little bit higher. But watch out for that 100. That's also going to be a little 523.18. Otherwise, so far nothing crazy today, which is good because you're bullish and it is been on a bullish trend. So see if we get some little bouncing off that VPOC and continue from there. I got FDX. If I could type FDX, there we go. FDX getting into the gap already. I love no three says, where do you get the price targets? Next resistance. That's coming from the VPOX volume profile. That's the highest volume off of price. We got, yeah, so FTX, really good move again. That's a strong move. If somebody was to buy this thing at open, carry it over the weekend just in case, or targeting that gap fill, now you get a little bit of a gap up. There could be a little profit taking here. But there's nothing at all. There's no volume to really hold us back. I guess your next spot in a bullish direction would be about 235, 31. So I think if you're in this thing already, great. Do I want to buy this thing at open? I don't know. Maybe I see if we get some pullback into like this 230, 74 zone. If we could do that, I think that would be your support. But yeah, again, I think everyone's probably targeting this 241 if you get there. Yeah, probably 241. There's another pivot over here somewhere, which might cause us a little issues to clearly just straight run into it from around 236. But that looks pretty interesting with a lot of room to go. I don't love that it was just off a retest gap, so jump in right away, but not bad. Not bad. PLTR, I was looking at that one too this morning, but let's check out Docu first. PLTR might be one of my favorites. You got DocuSign is again retest gap. We're gonna see that a lot. Kind of into a little congestion zone up here on DocuSigns. It's beautiful bounce off that 200. This one's gonna be, I think DocuSigns is a little spready, so be careful of that spread a little bit if you're day trading it. But I think getting a pullback, look for some kind of support around 88.52. If we could get some, watch today's bell ring and just everything just flies and nothing pulls back. I I should be shocked, but I wouldn't. I'd be like, okay, they got us. They don't want to give us a good entry. But let's see if we get a little tiny pullback on this one. 88.43, that might be your spot. Otherwise, really good, great close on Friday, closing above this pivot, VPOC higher than the rest. And then a really good, if you can be that patient, 87.24 would be phenomenal spot to look to buy, set up some decent risk reward on it. Palantir. Palantir is, I think, one of my potential favorite gaps. Again, I still be cautious at open as it is a retest from Friday. There is people profitable, but I am watching 93.30. Anything below it, I'm going to be extra patient and see if you get a full-on pullback into this 89.65 zone. If we stay above it or we have an opportunity for a high wave candle, I've got really nothing until about $100.99. And it is a momentum stock that can do crazy things. So psychologically, you might have a little level at like 95, 90, but the real level on this one for me would take me up to just under 101. So lots and lots of room on this one. If this thing can stay pretty much above this 93.30, I've already got it kind of high on my list, so we'll keep it up there and we'll see what this one wants to do. But the only downfall to this is there was a lot of buying on Friday, well off the all-time highs. Again, valuation doesn't make sense up there. I don't know. But if we could stay above that 93.30, get a retest into it, take a breakout somewhere, I have to take a shot at that one. So, yep, by far one of my favorites. All right, we got Amazon. Mustafa showing up late. All right, we're gonna have to issue a late pass for you. All right. We got Amazon is it's a good gap. Again, retest gap. This one's into resistance, and you got your 200 above you. This is your high volume candle. You have gotten up there before. Again, I kind of want to see a pullback. I don't want to see this thing fully retest, so I do want to see this thing kind of maybe stall out somewhere around 189.12. I don't want to really get back into this candle. But you do have good resistance on this one. So again, I like this gap. I don't love the amount of room that we have on it. If we could get above 245, let's say $200, and let's go $200.50. You're still gonna have that 200. You're still gonna have that 20. In terms of actual levels for VPOX, though, you would have a lot of room to 207.83. But I think this becomes a little challenge with that, with the fact that you have four green days in a row. Not all of them are really positive days, because they all kind of just chopped around like crazy until we got out of here. But really interesting chart. Resistance is going to be tough. Targets are great if you could clear through some of those, at least EMAs on that chart. Hood. Hood might be decent with crypto moving. It is. Again, same story as most other stocks. It is a retest from Friday. Location on this one is pretty decent. This would be hold anything above 46.42, and I think you should have some room up to this one to like 48.66. That's about another $2.20. We'll see if that wants to hold. Uh, if we start dipping below this 46.50 or 46.42, we have some immediate support. So again, on this one, I don't want to see us retest fully. I don't want to see us get down to even the closing price. I don't want to see us get down to like 43, 42. That's going to make it more of a challenge. You will have some good buy the dip for maybe a swing, but for day trade, the max I want to see this thing drop is like 45.97. I want the bulls to at least establish a position there. But if not, oh, just establish a position kind of where we're opening, and then you got a decent amount of room on this one. So let's get this one a little bit higher as well. We do see Bitcoin kind of going a little potential breakout mode, so not bad. We got Netflix. Netflix is retest gap, and that's a major resistance on that one. So you have resistance from back in January toward the end of January, lots and lots of resistance, and you have a lot of resistance from recently, February 27th. So it seems like the end of the month, this has been a challenge. And we're also in the end of the month, so we'll see what happens on this. I would like to see a retest on this one, probably get as close as possible to like 955. But if this one can close above, I think for the day, especially if we close above like 989, then I think we would look for more continuation tomorrow. And probably I would have a bigger target into like the 1047 range on Netflix, but big resistance on that one. So watch out for Netflix. It's just in a interesting spot to say the least. If you want to take a try, I think I'd have to be patient on this one, see if I get that pullback. Let's see. We got ASTS. ASTS. This one gets weird kind of momentum into it. I think then they have the shuttle that kind of landed sideways and they lost it. Like $1 billion shuttle just disappeared. Aliens probably took it. Interesting location, not bad. It is a good bullish engulfing candle. Probably want to see that retest eventually, 27.83. Whether that's today or not, right now we are holding an okay support resistance. We look like we're kind of at it. Depends on where we open. Next target on this one, 28.10. Bigger target on this one, stretch target for the day. Would take me just under $29, 28.99. So maybe not too much room on $27 stock though. That's not horrible. I think you have a little congestion in there. That being said, ASTS. I don't know what the short float is on this one. Let's see. Finvies. ASTS. 27% short float. So you have a potential squeeze if this thing could get going, and then it is one of those ones that can get that little momentum in it. So maybe that's enough to break out on some of those targets. I don't think it's enough for me to want to jump in specifically, but if you're in it, that's what you're kind of hoping for, that short squeeze. You got Meta. Meta held that 200 pretty nicely, almost tweezer bottoms. I think it's off by a penny or two, but close enough for a $600 stock. Pretty good gap on this one. Plenty of room on this one as well. So you got room up to like 622. That's another $79. Again, buyers came in. I think you have really good support if this thing could fade. Before you get to that next target, you can have that 100 EMA and the 20 also kind of coming in to play some defense. Other than that, if you get your pullback into like 607.37, that would be your spot. I think you get some better risk reward, but plenty of room on this one. Pretty fantastic looking gap as well. And then also high volume candle getting taken out. The last real high volume candle that came in was from March 10th, and we are opening above that as well. That would also be, again, just kind of come back into the 607.37 for some retest. So I think I'm going to be a little patient out of the gate, I think, on some things. Palantir, maybe not so much. We got AMD is also having a good looking day. We just hit 110 and then kind of just rejected it. But pretty good day here. Lots of three bullish green days at least. You also have your 50 EMA that's kind of approaching there and some resistance. This might be a little bit of potential fade opportunity, but if you start getting above 111.22, next target up takes you to almost 114, 113.96. That would give you a decent amount of room onto this one. But pretty decent gap. Yeah, I would add resistance around 109.46. I think if that's your pullback spot, I think that should establish itself as a little support. If that starts to break, you're just being patient, wait for that full-on retest back to 107, and then try to see if AMD is finally getting some bids to start to come in. Benjol says, first update in 5 days. I know, it feels weird. I don't know. I don't know what to do. We got Oxy. Oxy is just hanging out for now. Nothing too crazy. We're up 4 cents. You probably have a little bit more room on this one to about 48.16 on a swing trade basis. Great looking double bottom. You did close now 4 days in a row above that neckline. You just have this resistance that's coming up here, kind of like what we talked about on Netflix a little bit. Multiple days of resistance, going to cause some issues at 48.65. If we could start to clear that, especially like get above $49, we just have some moving average to worry about, but I think that would set us up for potential longer term bounce. Otherwise, buy low, sell high, almost in the middle. You probably have a little bit better risk reward to the higher side than you do to the lower side from here, though. But we will see. All right, Lunar, LUNR. LUNR. M Sky says, when you look for a high wave at open, is it on the 3 minute or five? Either or. Yep. 3 minute gets you a little bit better or tighter of a setup, so a little bit more likely that you can hit some bigger targets or at least hit your targets quicker. The 5 minute chart will get you a little bit more confirmation once you break out, and you probably could have those little bit bigger runs, but your pretty much your entries, your stops are going to be a little bit wider, so you're going to need the stock to do a little bit more. But either or is a go-to based on your own preference. But that is the morning bell. Lunar, nice little gap up. You're going to hit a little resistance. Oh, AMD got a little alert to it. But a little resistance on this one, $7.91. Anything above that, I think your next target probably takes you to about $8.69. Other than that, everybody at YouTube land, you guys are absolutely incredible. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons if you have not done so already. Otherwise, unfortunately, I have to disconnect, and I will